remember Krista McAuliffe, who captured the imagination of the entire nation, inspiring us with her pluck, her restless spirit of discovery, a teacher not just to her students, but to an entire people.
Sharon Krista Corrigan was born in Boston on September 2nd, 1948. Krista had always been energetic and goal-oriented. She graduated from Framingham State College, where she received a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1970. Krista married Stephen McAuliffe, whom she had met in their sophomore year at Framingham. The couple had 2 children, Scott and Caroline. She also received a master's degree in education at Bowie State College, Bowie, Maryland, in 1978. In her history classes, she emphasized the impact of ordinary people in history, maintaining they were as important to the historical records as kings, queens, politicians, or generals. She believed you can change things. You can make a difference. In 1985, Krista McAuliffe was chosen as the first private citizen and the first teacher to travel into space. She was selected from among 11,000 applicants. Krista was scheduled to conduct 2 lessons in space, which would be broadcast over the Public Broadcasting Service, or PBS television. One lesson was to be on the components and functions of the spacecraft, and the other on the reasons for space travels. She thought of the flight as the ultimate field trip. During her training at the Johnson Space Center, she underwent vigorous routines that every astronaut undergoes. She was taught navigation, physiology, astronomy, and geology. Half of each day was spent in class. The other half was spent working on technical assignments and flying. She studied stacks of training manuals and learned the intricacies of life in orbit. She also practiced emergency procedures. All crew members learned how to survive on land and in water. Mrs. McAuliffe felt a great deal of responsibility and excitement about representing her profession. In her candidacy letter to NASA, she wrote, "Just as the pioneer travelers of the wagon days kept personal journals, I, as a pioneer space traveler, would do the same."
We remember Allison Onizuka, who was a child running barefoot through the coffee fields and macadamia groves of Hawaii, dreamed of someday traveling to the moon.
Ellison S. Onizuka, mission specialist, was born June 24, 1946 in Kealakekula, Kona, Hawaii, and was the first Asian American in the space program. He loved outdoor activities such as running, hunting, and fishing. In fact, he has been known to attribute his impressive career achievements to having earned the Eagle Badge, which is the highest award of Boy Scouting. Elle received both the Bachelor and the Master of Science degrees in Aerospace Engineering in June and December of 1969 from the University of Colorado. Lieutenant Colonel Onizuka entered active duty with the United States Air Force in January 1970 after receiving his commission through the 4-year ROTC program as a distinguished military graduate of the University of Colorado. He attended the United States Air Force Test Pilot School from August 1974 to July 1975, receiving formal academic and flying instruction in performance, stability and control, and systems flight testing of aircraft. Onizuka was selected as an astronaut candidate by NASA in January 1978. He became eligible for an assignment as a mission specialist on future space shuttle flight crews after a year and a half of training and evaluation. Onizuka had worked on orbiter test and checkout teams and launched support crews at the Kennedy Space Center. His first assignment as a mission specialist was aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery, which launched on January 24, 1985, and was the first mission for the Department of Defense. With the completion of this flight, Onizuka had logged more than 1,700 hours of flying time, including a total of 74 hours in space. He is survived by Lorna and their 2 children, Jarnell and Darian.
We remember Ronald McNair, who said that he learned perseverance in the cotton fields of South Carolina. His dream was to live aboard the space station, performing experiments and playing his saxophone in the weightlessness of space. Well, Ron, we will miss your saxophone, and we will build your space station.
I was born October 24, 1950 in Lake City, South Carolina. I had always done my work in school, and I did it with effort. I was fascinated by everything I came in contact with. That's not to say that I was a bookworm, but I did my work. In the 12th grade, I was a star football player, and I wasn't going after things academically as hard as I had been earlier. I was falling into the peer pressure trap that last year. I was into the whole business of being cool, playing football, and not studying. But around graduation time, my high school principal redirected me on all of that. I remember I was supposed to be rehearsing the valedictorian address for the commencement exercises, but I was too cool for that. Everybody else was in the auditorium rehearsing, and I was walking the halls being cool. When I ran into the principal, I said to him, "Hey, what's happening?" He grabbed me by the collar and he said, "McNair, if you're going to be brilliant, be brilliant. If you're going to be dumb, be dumb. Right now, you're acting pretty dumb, boy." Well, I thought about where I was putting my priorities, and I straightened up at that point. After I graduated from George Washington Carver High School, I went on to college at North Carolina A&T State University. During my junior year, I became acquainted with lasers when I went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, in an exchange program. Following my graduation from undergraduate school in physics, I went back to MIT for graduate studies and continued to work in the laser lab. My doctoral thesis dealt with the area of molecular interactions with lasers. I put a lot of things aside while I prepared for my career in physics in graduate school. What leisure time I had, I taught karate, socialized, and traveled. I believe that to do anything really worthwhile, you're going to have to give something up. If you try to do it all, you're going to wind up accomplishing nothing. I remember taking my physics qualifying examination early and failing it flat. So I regrouped, closeted myself up with my books and notes, and then successfully passed the examination. I have interacted and studied with physicists from various parts of the world. We are all trying to unravel mysteries about the universe. Once you've grasped a scientific concept, it gives you a very euphoric feeling. My first space mission on February 3rd, 1984, tested the Manned Maneuvering Unit and the first use of the Canadian arm, which I operated to position an EVA crewman around Challenger's payload bay. I hope the picture I took of Mission Specialist Canlis flying solo in space will inspire people from all walks of life. We all run into situations in which it's easy to quit. When homework piles up, everything is overdue, and your head is about to explode, problems will come at you all at once. It takes a very strong will to endure this kind of pressure. This is when many people fail. I've seen it happen numerous times with people who I've been in various programs with. I was subjected to the same kind of pressures, but I pursued it a little harder and a little longer. Along with my wife Cheryl and children Reginald and Joy, my greatest achievement will be when I take my journey into space on January 20th, 1986 on the Space Shuttle Challenger as a mission specialist to study the route of Halley's Comet and possibly walk in space.
Without a doubt, we have certainly come a long way in our unyielding exploration into the vastness of space. We have also heightened our quest for knowledge as we seek to unravel some of the mysteries of the universe that still baffle us. Though the space program has faced many setbacks and obstacles, we must not become stagnant out of despair. We must go on. We have to continue this most important pursuit